What's up, guys? It's the CryptoCoinKid. Welcome to Crypto Talks. I'm Kamea Lafontaine.
And I'm Benjamin Wong, your co-host.
So, Benjamin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. How about yourself?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. It's a fine Thursday afternoon, and let's get right into it. So, for our little explainer today, I just want to give a little summary of what a smart contract is, because a lot of the crypto things are built off of
Yeah.
what the smart contract is. So, a smart contract is essentially a very simple program that is stored on the blockchain, blockchain, stored in the blockchain to execute when something is needs to be done, like a transaction, when you're swapping out a cryptocurrency for another, like if you're swapping out Ethereum for
Yeah.
Bitcoin, that's a smart contract that just makes it go through. It is kind of like any contract, but the only difference is that it's not actually with a human, it's with code, and the
Yeah.
code doesn't have any bias, it doesn't have any of that. It just does it no matter what. It can't like stop it from happening. And it's on the blockchain, so it literally can't be changed once it's actually coded into there. And yeah, that's essentially what a smart contract is. A contract built on code that can be used for multiple things like automation, can be used for non-bias when you're doing a transaction,
Yeah.
and there's so much applications for contracts. But the problem with them is that they can't be with super specific things. That's the one problem with them. They can't be with super specific things. Like if I wanted to make the perfect of something, because like it's impossible to define the word perfect. It's
Yeah.
like impossible because there's so many different definitions. And in a way it's kind of dumb because they just can only do super simple things, and the main use for them is non-bias. And that's
Yeah.
where actually you have to use humans for perfect things, because we have our own brain and we can actually identify it with our own minds
Right.
and all that stuff to actually do it. Simple stuff like numbers, values, price. Those are the things that it can essentially do.
Yeah. I've heard of smart contracts, and I'm actually trying to work
Mm,
on learning a little bit about smart contracts, like how to create
yes,
them. And like there are so many functions for it. Smart contracts is kind of like the other, how we always talk about how NFTs are going to change the world. Smart
exactly.
contracts, I think, is part of that too. Because things like when you buy a house and you have to pay a mortgage and things like that,
Hmm.
that's where like smart, you can't really have an NFT of like a mortgage. So more of like a smart contract to fulfill that. Anyways, let's get
Yes.
into the news for this week. Kamia, what's up in the world of crypto?
All right. So let's just start off with the big thing that happened. The crypto market recently just hit 3 trillion. It's worth more than like Apple's market cap. It's worth more than Microsoft,
Yeah.
which is absolutely crazy. And just crypto, Bitcoin new all-time high, 69,000. It just peaked up there and then it came back down to 64,000. Ethereum new all-time highs. It's just looking totally awesome. Some news reports, just a lot of things are happening with the crypto market today.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that
So,
was
yeah.
unexpected. Certainly, I mean,
Yeah.
Well, ETH did really well in like May, right? It was
Yes.
about 4,000, and then it came down all the way to like 2,700s, and this was like 2 months ago, 2,700s. Uh, I've said this a few times now. I put an order in to buy to buy four
Yeah.
hundred dollars worth of ETH at $2,800. It is now, what is it now? 4,000.
Like
It is
it at
now
its peak with the recent all-time high, it's like 4,000 right now. It's
4,000,
currently
almost
4,000.
800. So
Yeah.
almost like
Wow.
almost doubled in value. So I do wish I had bought it. And last time we talked about too the whole Wall Street cheat sheet of it's gonna go down
Yes.
at some point because ETH
Yeah, eventually.
it does this. Yeah, all
So, I got a quick
cryptocurrency
question.
has their bouts. Yeah.
So, what do you think, like, why do you think crypto is going, like, it's going so much, it's going so high, it's so volatile? Why do you think that's happening, Ben?
Camilla, it really just comes down to the continuous adoption of
Yeah.
Ethereum and ETH and cryptocurrency as something that's going to change the world. There are, and there are still so many people who are against the idea with reason. I mean, it is a little difficult to say that this 5-digit number is gonna change the world
Yeah.
in cryptocurrency. And I think the craziness of digital currency and digital assets has gone down over time as huge figures are starting to be more open to it, be more positive to it,
Yes.
as the media is more positive to it, as politicians are more positive to it, business people. And I think that's a trend that's going to continue. Um, and in terms of the
Hmm.
prices, I don't think ETH is going to continue. I don't think this is going to be a 10-year run where ETH goes to the moon and never comes down. I think it's going to come
Yeah.
down. I think next time maybe it'll come
Totally.
down to like maybe 3,000 and then peak again at 5,000, come down to 3,500, peaking at 6,000.
Yeah.
Um, so I
Higher
don't
highs
think that
and higher lows.
higher highs and higher lows. Yeah. So it's gonna go up over
Yes.
time. Like the price of it now is more than definitely, as long as nothing goes wrong in the world, like terrible things happen. As long as nothing terrible
Yeah.
happens in the world, in 10 years it'll be higher. Just like the stock market, just like real estate, in 10 years is always going to be higher. But I think what we're seeing now is a lot of people learning more about it and accepting it and really wanting to be part of it, such that the price of ETH
Yes.
has really driven up.
And totally, just a lot of people are trying to look for different ways to make money. They're trying to
Yeah,
try and find different hedges. Because I saw this tweet that the actual Bitcoin account made, where it says your dollar bill, the American dollar bill, is losing 1% of its value every 30 days,
yeah,
based on the numbers, which is absolutely crazy. And that means the dollar bill could be worthless within like 8 years,
yeah,
which is absolutely crazy. So people are
yeah,
trying to find different ways. All these big companies are trying to adopt crypto. It's like, as Thanos would say, it's inevitable. And just everyone's going to have to adopt Bitcoin, crypto in their own different ways. Like Discord recently tried to do it, but then there was some backlash. But something they said, they didn't specify, they just said the users didn't like the new idea. And I think over time, the bad things about crypto have slowly decreased.
yeah,
Like they're
totally.
slowly decreasing. Like back then in the beginning, it was like everyone was saying it's dark web money, it's never gonna
Yeah,
last. And
yep.
then when I started, it was like, oh, everyone's a scammer, because like when I started, it was right when BitConnect like was around like its failure. So people were like super hating. I remember when Kappa, before it even started, it got so much scam comments and all that stuff, so much hate comments, all that stuff. And now one of the few arguments that people can
Yeah,
ask is, which was the main thing that people were saying in the Discord thing. Same with Roblox. The Roblox game tried to integrate NFTs into their thing.
yeah,
One of them are asking is, well, it's bad for the environment. And I totally agree that I like that people are taking care of the environment, they care about it, but that's kind of like the only thing they have against crypto. And there's already like solutions. Like
yeah. Polygon,
Bitcoin, it uses proof. Yeah, Polygon,
ETH two.
Solana, proof of
Yep.
time, proof of stake, and those are alternatives to the proof of work instead of mining Bitcoin, like releasing all the stuff. But something's funny is that a lot of the like a lot of people, even when you like use computers or drive a car, you're still affecting the environment, and it's kind of like, choose what you're going to have to defend on the environmental crisis. Like it's definitely a big problem. But whenever you play like when someone plays video games, I don't think they're like, "Oh no, the environment." They're kind of just playing the video game.
Yeah,
Or when someone's eating like steak and they think, "Oh no, the greenhouse gases from the cows." I don't think they're really thinking about that. They're kind of just thinking
yeah,
about eating a steak. So
yeah.
yeah, it's
I think
essentially some things. That's what they kind of want to do. They want to make crypto seem bad so it doesn't eventually get adopted. It's going to eventually get adopted. So,
yeah.
just what do you think about that, Ben?
I mean, like, cause I'm a very big climate change person because I live in
Mhm.
California. I live in California where
Yes.
you can
I
drive
I
out.
actually I literally heard something like when when social distancing stopped, like is it usually like very like smoggy in California, like you can't see
So
the sky? Is it
so
like that?
I live in a suburb, so I don't live in LA area,
Mm.
but I go to LA area quite a bit, and yeah, it definitely is. You know,
And I heard it like became super like you could see the sky is super sunny
Yeah.
when isolation stopped.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because one time, this is a few years back, I was in the mountains, and like you could actually see a layer of grayness in the sky. So yeah, so being
Mm-hmm.
back to the topic, being from California, with wildfires, with rising tides, with
Yes.
just general weather. I don't know if it's supposed to be 90 degrees on November 11th, and so
Yeah.
being from California, I'm a very big person for climate
Mm-hmm.
and doing better there. And so with Ethereum, I think certainly creators, people running projects are doing a lot of work to combat that issue. Like donating
Yes.
to organizations to help directly fight these things. Now it's kind of you're destroying things, you're kind of replanting them, so it's a little bit, I don't know how to feel exactly there. I
Yeah.
think we're on the right track though. I'm not going to say
Mm.
stop doing everything and wait for a better solution. I think there are a lot of good solutions, like Polygon. Is
Yes.
a great solution.
Exactly.
Solana is a great option. ETH2 is coming. So I think that
Yes.
I think the climate change issue with cryptocurrency is an issue at the moment. I'm not too worried about it though, because it's something that is a known problem. Everyone knows that this is a problem,
Yes.
and they're trying to fix it. What are your thoughts?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's eventually going to happen. A lot of the things, even Ethereum, it's already changing to proof of stake to
Yeah,
stop all of the climate change, to stop the mine, the export of greenhouse gases, and there's already like solutions out there, and it's just the only thing that matters is like the amount of time that it takes to actually implement those solutions
yeah,
into cryptocurrency and
totally.
how it's essentially going to change into all of that. And like there's already like most Bitcoin miners, they claim that they use renewable sources of energy like wind, solar wind, geothermal, and even potentially a volcano in El Salvador, but and that's not confirmed. But yeah, the change is going to happen. They're either going to make it, and if you just zoom out the big picture, it's eventually going to work out. People are
Yeah,
going to make the
definitely.
changes. It's going to eventually do that, and that's what I love about crypto is essentially just removed all the things that people can say bad about crypto,
Right.
and now this is like the final boss. This is like the final thing they have to
Yeah,
release, and once that's gone, then crypto can be mass adopted everywhere.
yeah, totally. Like that, and we've said this so many times again about the winter of NFTs and crypto is definitely coming.
Yes.
Uh, and we don't know exactly how that caused it. We do have some predictions. I want to get into another thing, which is with people
Mm,
who flip NFTs. So, like buying a
mm,
project that's super hyped up and then flipping it for 5 times more the next day. Do you think that's like ethically right to flip NFTs?
hmm. Well, I think that day trading is dangerous no matter what you do it. Like you could potentially win a lot or you can lose a lot.
Yeah,
And it's just honestly, I mean, it's kind of like reselling things on the black market. Not like it's like that, but it's just sometimes people can steal art online, just publish it for NFTs.
yeah,
That's what a lot of the artists are saying about NFTs, that people are just taking other people's credit, which is, yeah, that is kind of a problem, but it can be changed through different solutions. But I think flipping NFTs, honestly, they're kind of putting like themselves at risk. But if they choose to do that, if they're confident like that, I mean, it's their choice. They can do that. And it's very risky. Like trading cryptos daily,
yeah.
staring at charts all long day long. It's not the healthiest alternative.
Right.
Like it's not super healthy. Like I really love crypto, but I don't look at crypto charts like for 24 hours every
Right.
day, and it's just honestly just take care of your body. Just it's all about your health, and flipping
Yeah.
NFTs, if you want to do that, you have to have major dedication. You have to
Yeah.
like
A ton.
get rid of everything else you're doing, and you have to literally just look at crypto Twitter all the time. You have to look at all the new NFT projects. You have to look at what's hyped up, and you have to literally be following
Yep.
all of these people to get all these notifications. And honestly, if you're good at it, I mean, do what you do what you want to do, but it's not the healthiest way to make money in crypto.
Yeah,
One of my favorite strategies is just to just
yeah,
hold it and see what happens.
yeah. I mean, I think people can. I flip eBay stuff like on garage sales
Yes.
and flipping stuff, um, but with NFT flipping, I guess it's. I don't think there's anyone particularly getting hurt by flipping because
Mm,
you know the floor is raised. Floor is the minimum price for a project. The floor is raised.
yeah.
The person makes some money. The creator gets the floor raised, which is always a good thing,
Hmm.
I guess. Um, but I definitely agree with believing in the long term. Like V Friends with Gary V, like I
Yes.
would buy that and never let go of it. Um, because I
Exactly.
believe in the long term vision. I think. Do you think that the whole NFT space is too focused on the short term, or doing a pretty good job of looking in the macro in the long term?
I think there are definitely a lot of the NFT projects are definitely riding the hype. A lot of people in NFTs are kind of just jumping on the trend, but a lot of projects are also there's even like small things called like insider trading where
Yeah.
they try to pump their own price and
Oh
essentially
yeah.
it's just pumping your own bags. Yeah. And I think that a lot of NFT projects are looking at the long term, like what you're saying. V Friends looking at the I- IP, intellectual property, just seeing how will this affect the world like 10, 20 years from now. And yes, I think a lot of NFT projects are riding on the hype. They're just kind of like I don't think there's kind of like the main things and then there's other things like there's people trying to make like ride off of
Yeah.
CryptoPunks and how it's success.
Yeah.
Like there's like people making CryptoPunks mutants or CryptoPunks Wild West, all this stuff. They're just kind of trying to like make a quick profit from the hype that's
Yeah.
riding. But I think that some NFT projects are doing really well in the long term, but just a lot of them are still riding on the hype and they need to fix that. But the Matrix one, it's doing a perfect job
Oh
of
yeah.
like
Let's talk about that.
staying that's like IP from like 20 years ago. Like the Matrix literally like it's like one of the main things that inspired the metaverse. It's like I love the brand of the Matrix and
Yeah.
that's definitely not going to go away anytime soon, the Matrix.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about that. I know you tagged me in a Twitter thing about the Matrix
Mm,
NFTs. I haven't watched
yes.
the Matrix, or is that the movie? Yeah, the Matrix. I haven't watched the
Yes,
Matrix.
it's the Matrix.
Of course, I've heard of it. I haven't watched it yet, so I did some
Yes.
digging. So basically, the Matrix movie is about getting
Mm,
trapped in this dimension, kind of like a metaverse,
yeah.
and so they have a movie coming out, and they're releasing these
Mm,
NFTs, like 100,000
yes.
of them, at fifty
Yeah.
dollars a piece, which is pretty cheap. And you basically get a character, kind of like you're in the
Yes.
Matrix, and you get a character, and you basically get to do a bunch of really cool things, like choosing a red pill or a blue pill, and doing
Mm,
challenges and things like that. And so I like the idea. I'm definitely onto it. I know you like
hmm.
it too. Why?
Yes.
What's your biggest appeal to this project?
Well, my biggest appeal to this project is that I'm in like the Discord server of the brand that's making the NFTs. Like
Nifty?
it's called NFT'S. Yeah. And the community is so hyped up of this project. Like they love the Matrix, they all love that. And they're very positive and super strong. That's why I think there's like 20,000 members inside the Discord server, which is like it's a nice amount. Like if everyone buys two NFTs, like that's all gone.
Yeah,
But uh if you look at the brand, like they already made one where it's like Space Jam. They already did that, and those all
yeah,
sold out. Some of them are selling for like $66,000. And I'm just looking at what they did before, and now I'm looking at what they're doing now with the Matrix. And the Matrix is one of my favorite brands. I just love it so much, and the idea how it kind of revolutionized this whole
right.
like idea of the metaverse. And yeah, I just looked at the community. I looked at the brand. This is a super strong brand, and that's kind of the reason that I'm really loving this project.
Yeah, let's talk about the brands real quick. So I
Hmm.
always touch on this about brands entering the NFT space. There's a Disney. We talked about this on the first one.
Yes.
Disney's Golden Moments NFTs, like where you can buy a
Yeah.
statue of Mickey Mouse on Vive is their platform, and then
Mm.
if the gateway with their brand. Um, do you think the new projects that are like, let me go to some right now. CryptoPunks, Board 8 Yacht Club, these are projects that have huge volume and how many have
Yeah.
sold. Even the Mutant Ape Yacht Club, um,
Yeah.
Cosmic Labs, Bear X Labs, whatever that is. Do you think they can build brands that are equivalent or even greater than Disney or the Matrix?
That's a really interesting thing to think about. I mean, their community is super strong and they're already building that. CryptoPunks, I love Bored Ape Yacht Club. I think it's really cool how they like have all these different types of apes. There's only going to be 10,000 like CryptoPunks and there's never going to be any more, pretty
Yeah,
sure. And I think that we're gonna need new brands for the future generations. Like currently, the brands that we love right now is like Disney and like Harry Potter and like
right,
Lord of the Rings and The Matrix. Like the Lord of the Rings was written like over 100, like nearly 100 years ago, and it's still around to this day. And we're gonna need some new people in this like in the boxing ring, some new brands, some new
right.
strong IP, some new intellectual property, and for the future generations they can possibly be like, oh look, remember when CryptoPunks or all that stuff or all
Yeah,
that stuff,
yeah,
and all these like these NFTs are probably going to be remembered as new IP. Same with V Friends, he's trying to make it for the
yeah,
future generations, like his own Disney characters, maybe even turn into like some sort of show with his with his characters in it.
yeah,
And yeah, there needs to be new IP, new stuff, and I think the NFTs are providing a lot of new players inside the
yeah,
game,
totally.
and only a few of them will probably succeed to be remembered. But I'm glad that there's a lot of people trying to get remembered in the long term.
What's the key to building a strong brand? Is it the creator behind it? Is it the appeal? Like, you know how Board Ape Yacht Club, the characters look cool. CryptoPunks, the characters look cool.
Yeah,
VeFriends, the characters look cool. Is it the utility? You know, being able to have the billionaire Ape Yacht Club be able to go to like an actual club and have fun with each other,
yeah.
be friends with the VCon. You know, which of these is the most important to building the brand? The person behind it, utility, the art of it?
Well, I think that creativity is definitely a big factor. Like the idea of making a bunch of things. Maybe if someone like hand drew all the stuff and this is like amazing stuff, then yeah, that's definitely super creative and something that you have to definitely take into account.
Yeah,
The community, big factor. If it's a super hype community and everyone's super excited about this brand, or if it's just like a meh community, like they're kind of like
right.
they like the project, but they're not like super like excited for it. It's not like a religion to them. It's kind of like a side thing that they do. They're like, oh, cool. Next thing,
Right.
and then next, the founder has to be a nice person. They have to have a good vision of how this is gonna
Of
go.
course.
They have to have a good like way that they're gonna say that. And I think the ones that are just riding off the backs of the hype ones currently aren't gonna last that long if that brand doesn't last as long. Some of them could potentially just stick around for a while because of the other ones like popularity, but
Right.
they're not going to be like remembered as their own thing. They're gonna be remembered as a clone of
Yeah.
Bored Ape Yacht Club or all that stuff. So you're gonna have a creative idea, a good community, a good founder, interesting art that you're selling, and can't be stolen, can't be just riding off the hype.
Of course.
And I
Yeah.
think those are essentially the things that set it apart, because each generation rejects the old Ponzi schemes for
Yeah.
their quote unquote new Ponzi schemes.
Yeah.
And that's why the new generation is rejecting gold and accepting Bitcoin.
Yep.
Maybe the next generation, like like potentially like my kids or like grandkids or like the future generations, will probably reject Bitcoin and then care about some other thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like they're just it changes every single generation.
Of course.
Like people like 1,000 years ago used to use like shells as like
Yeah.
currency, and then
Yeah.
gold, and then silver, and all that stuff, and then now, then the American bill. and then now it's Bitcoin. And they're just rejecting gold, in with Bitcoin, and
Yeah.
then maybe in like 50 years, Bitcoin's out and some other metaverse coin is in. It's kind of just like that.
Let's talk about VFriends real quick. Uh,
Yes.
I don't know if you keep up with Gary V, but VFriends 2 is
Mhm.
coming out, 2022. Matrix coming out, when's Matrix coming out? Late November,
I'm pretty sure it's November 30th.
November 30th. A ton of new
Yeah.
projects, nothing new right now, but there are a few coming,
Mm.
uh, such as VFriends 2 or the Matrix ones. Do you have any interest in buying into VFriends 2?
I think that Gary Vee said that the drop is delayed. He's got a book coming out, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
And I just love V Friends. Like I'm just looking at it right now, and just some of them are being like the floor price is
good point.
8.23 ETH,
Yeah.
which is like which is like
Let me
over
do the math.
$10,000.
Yeah, it's like
Let's just see the exact amount
32,000,
that it is.
32,000.
Wow, for one V Friends, yeah, I think it's gonna be super hype. The
But by
news,
the
I'll
way,
try to get in.
the
Huh?
original price of a V friend was like $1,000, $500, $1,000.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, wow, it's
yeah, it's
absolutely
crazy.
crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try if like these big brands are announcing new things. Like if like some metaverse platform announces a second or Vive, I'm definitely gonna try
Yeah,
get in. But the community is so strong. There's so much people that like use Vive that are trying to get it.
yeah,
It's gonna be pretty hard, but I'm definitely gonna try to get in on the 2.0s, the new stuff on this. And Gary Vee is definitely doing it right with his NFTs.
yeah,
He's
totally,
definitely doing everything
totally.
correct. He hand drew all the stuff with cool backgrounds, and he's a great founder. His community is awesome. His art is awesome. It's like kind of like a kid drew it, but it's like in a
Yeah,
cool
and
way
yeah, they're
that
they're
you like.
very cool things.
Yeah,
Let's
and I'm definitely gonna try to get on the new if some new NFT project is getting in. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just look into all of it, take in all the factors of like how's the founder, how's the community, all that stuff, and then I'm going to contemplate if I'm actually gonna buy it.
So let's talk about that real quick. So the V Friends 2 project, he's trying to make it come under $1,000. Uh,
Yes.
and so let's, to be honest, NFTs are expensive. They're not cheap
Yes.
things. A lot of
Nope.
kids can afford $1,000 to spend on a picture that Gary Vee drew, right?
Yeah.
What are let's come up with some ways that kids can raise money to buy NFTs, whether it's a $50 matrix or $1,000 refund.
So he's Gary Vee. He's like always tried to make everything super like a nice affordable price. Like he
Yeah,
had I'm pretty sure it's a wine business,
yeah,
and his whole approach for his wine was to compete on the price, and he was trying to over deliver on customer service, all that stuff. So this isn't very new for him. He's done a lot of stuff in the past, and he doesn't want anybody to be left out of this. He's trying to make it for everyone. But the thing is, there's so much people with a lot of money that just
yeah.
like stock up on these, and there's like so eventually it's just like big whales can only get into be these NFT projects, like people um with millions of dollars of crypto. So how can a kid raise money? So well, the easiest way is to convince your parents to give you some money. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Maybe you can maybe like mow a lawn or for like around the neighborhood. Currently it's like still COVID, so yeah, you still have to take that into account, but you can maybe you can play metaverse games. You
That's, yeah,
can start a wallet account.
yeah,
You can and I think we talked about last week my BAT, which I
yeah.
earned a
The
thousand
Brave
dollars from
browser.
just yes, from just
Yeah,
like watching ads over 3 years, and maybe I'll just turn that and flip it for V Friends. That could be an absolutely amazing trade. But yeah, essentially, the thing about like this Ben, like probably better than most people. You always were like on that hustle. You would like
yeah,
you'd handpick
yeah.
avocados. You would sell them
Yep,
at the
yep.
like local market and just work some like maybe some side hustles, play metaverse games, instead of playing like maybe a game that doesn't pay you for a little bit,
Right.
just play some other stuff like Sandbox, Decentraland, all
Yeah.
that stuff. Like, and I love Sandbox because you can essentially just buy your little plot of land, but these little
Yeah.
like these pixels of land are selling for like thousands of dollars, and these
Yep.
big plots of lands are selling to only big companies. Like big companies can only afford them because they're being sold for like 500,000 Ethereum,
Yeah.
which is like no 500,000 worth
Yep.
of Ethereum, not 500,000 Ethereum. But it's like it's absolutely crazy. Decentraland, I there's this
It's
other thing called
crazy.
My Metaverse,
Yeah.
My Meta, which essentially pays you for just playing Minecraft. It's just you connect your wallet. That's awesome. And there's just maybe you can hustle on you can maybe just you could start a YouTube channel, try to make your own
Yeah.
following, and maybe try to get like reputation on that.
Yeah.
And or maybe you could potentially convince Gary Vee to give you one and just
It's
hustle on
possible.
Twitter and
Yeah.
just try to get it from Gary Vee. It's definitely
It's
possible. He
very
always does
possible.
it. He always gives away. But yeah, that's just my main advice. Just have a bunch of hustles, play metaverse games, try to do things to earn money,
Yeah.
potentially convince your parents to give you some money. I don't know. Use your allowance, save up over maybe a year, save up, see how
Yep.
much you have. You can probably make like a couple $100 from just like mowing lawn. Like if you have like nice neighbors, they'll probably just pay you like $50 just to mow their
Yeah.
lawn.
You know,
And yeah, those are just some things. Huh?
you know the story of when with the avocados and trying to save up to buy
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
Funko Pops, the bobbleheads. Like this is
Mhm.
a very real reality that 9-year-old, 10-year-old me and you's out there, to 9-year-old, 10-year-old
Mhm.
Gary V's are out there are like literally like selling avocados or selling oranges on the street to buy a V friend. That's
Yeah.
so
I
that's
I
really cool.
remember I remember back in 2018 when I was like 9 years old. I had this like car cleaning business, and
Yeah.
I had three different tiers. I had the okay job, I had the I had the good job, and then I had the premium job. And my neighbor was super nice. She paid for like the premium job, which was like $50, and they cleaned her car. And yeah, it's just there's like multiple different ways that you can make money. And honestly, as a kid, just take a lot of risks
Take a ton of risks.
because honestly, it doesn't affect you as much as when you're a kid as it does when you're an adult. And I think that's a mistake that a lot of people make. They wait till
Yeah,
they're like
totally.
20s, 30s to actually take a lot of risks, and they just want to, as we like talked about, um will it give you a different childhood or a different quality of childhood? And
Yeah.
essentially, if you start off young, by the time you're like 20 and those 20-year-olds are just starting in the rat race, you'll be like a million light years ahead of them in the game. And that's why I started off like when I was 8 years old. My dad, he would always like teach us, my mom would always teach us about like money and all that stuff.
Yep.
Like from a super young age, we would always learn about like money, finance, and all that stuff.
Yep.
So make all your mistakes when you're young.
Yeah.
Make sure to not redo those mistakes. Make a mistake once, learn from it. Don't redo it.
Of course.
That's a
Yep.
mistake a lot of people make. And just go for it. Have your hustle. Earn some money. Save up for an NFT or maybe some crypto and just hold it for maybe a year, and just get ready for that. So, Ben, I'm gonna just throw the question right
Yeah.
back at you. What are you doing to get ready for this new Gary Vee drop? Are you gonna get in? What are you gonna do?
I think definitely. I do want to go what you just said. Okay, I can't emphasize how much I've said this since I started doing interviews. Take so many risks. Like this is to all the kids out there. Take so many
Yes.
risks in the next however many years that you're still a kid. Like people, I think forget how short life is. How lucky we are to be living here. Like to be
Yeah.
to be alive. How lucky that is just to be alive. Like you could have been this microphone.
Yeah.
Uh, so take it like, and as a kid, I understand adults who don't want to put their life savings into a picture of a
Yeah.
fish, but like if you're a
or
kid, go out there, stop hanging out with your friends, every single day, and then go garage sale on Saturdays like me, buy a video game for $3, true story, and sell it for $70, true story. So
like
like
like totally like instead of like maybe doing like video games for like 5 hours a day on Saturday, maybe go outside and just sell some old toys you have or sell like old clothes you have.
Yep.
cuz or donate them. Just find out all the different ways, cuz as a kid who's like when you're like my age, you probably have a lot of old clothes that you
Yeah.
don't like have that you can't fit. So just sell those for a lot of other people, because people really do appreciate it when when you give away different clothes, and you can just donate them and give away all of them for like maybe 50 bucks.
Yep.
And or just look at your old toys. Like there's probably a toy that you really like when you're younger and you don't really like it today, or maybe
Yeah.
you could potentially have a really old toy that's valuable to someone, and they like some sort of rare. Like I saw this thing where it's like it was like a collection of old McDonald's Happy Meal toys, and it got sold for like like $100,000, which is crazy
Yeah.
because it's like McDonald's. Like, why is McDonald's toys being sold for that much money? But people like love
They
nostalgia.
loved it. Yeah.
Like,
Nostalgia is.
nostalgia
Yeah.
is a big market. Nostalgia is like a super big market. Like Star Wars NFTs on Vive, they got sold for a lot of money,
Oh yeah.
and maybe just one day you can just take out like 1 hour of your Saturday, 2 hours, just looking through all your old toys,
Yep.
just seeing the ones you don't like and selling them, or going to a garage sale and just
Yep.
flipping old stuff that someone else might like. Like I saw your things where it's like your Instagram stories where you're just like you got like baseball cards and all that
Oh yeah.
stuff and all your
Yeah.
garage
If you
sale
could like,
flips. That's
if I'm gonna actually do this, I got a new phone for video. I'm gonna actually do
yes.
this. We just bought a house, so we're moving homes now.
Mm.
But when everything is figured out, in January, February, when I can get back into garage sales, I'm actually gonna go videotape, like make like a vlog series of doing garage sales, just because like so many kids and especially teens like 15, 16,
Yes.
complain about how broke they are, uh, and
Yeah.
rely on their parents, which is, I guess,
Mhm.
fine. I'm not going to judge anyone for that. That's what
Yes.
most people do. But like, if you want that extra thing, you can't really complain about that if you're still relying on your parents. So I think garage selling is definitely a great way to make some extra money. I think it's more
Yes.
than possible if you just hustle a ton for a while. I think by the time VFriends comes around, or VFriends 2 comes around in January, February, March, whatever, like,
Yes.
it's very possible to make $200 a week. Like, as
Oh,
long,
definitely.
if you don't live in the middle of nowhere,
Please. Yeah.
like, even just by garage selling, you could start a YouTube channel, you know. But I think garage selling is like a very quick make $100 on a Saturday. Like, I'm gonna definitely, I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate to have hustled to this point.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm anywhere close to where I want to be. I think, but I'm fortunate to have hustled to a point that kind of the stars aligned, and I have the ability to buy every friend. But like, I might even I might even say this. I mean, this is kind of unrealistic, but I might just try to garage sale the next 8 weeks and do exactly that, and try to
Oh,
garage sale enough to buy a friend. Like, I might even just do that to show how possible it is. But to answer the
like
question,
that would
like, to answer the
I could
question,
like
I'm
oh yeah,
so in on VFriends. I love the project.
totally.
Yeah, and I think kids, there are so many, and that's what the Kids CEO podcast is, what this is going to be on at the moment until it goes to its own
Mm.
podcast. But like, there are so many ways to make the money, especially in befriend land. You know, be 9-year-old Kamea, be 9-year-old me, be 9-year-old Gary V,
Yeah.
and go outside, pick bananas. You know, or is that a word? Pick bananas, pick grapes off your vines, and go take them to the corner and sell them. Make $100 a week, and then go buy a VFriend, go buy a Matrix NFT. Like, it's just so possible. I love it.
Yeah, there's just so much opportunity, and just the main thing that you just have to do is just try. If you just
Just
try,
try.
then you're like a
Yeah.
million years ahead of like everyone else in the world.
Yeah.
Like that's the main mistake, is people don't even get into it. They just think
Yeah.
about it and then they're like,
Yeah.
meh. And just get into it, and definitely, Ben, please film that. That would be so awesome. And
Yeah.
if that went viral, you would like even get more followers on like YouTube as well. So it's like a win-win situation.
And
Yeah, definitely film that. That would be
that's,
awesome.
I really like that. Just do it. You know what actually happened? My first time ever going to a garage sale. It was Sunday at 6:50, 7:10 a.m. And I was watching
Hmm.
a video of Gary V of Trash Talk. And I was like, why am I was in bed. I was like, why am I just sitting here in bed? I woke up 10 minutes, went with my dad, downloaded an app in 5 minutes, learned how to garage sale, went to a garage sale. Like, this is not a lie whatsoever. Actually happened. 7 a.m. on a Sunday, was watching Gary Vee uh, go garage selling. Took my dad out of bed at 7 a.m. on a Sunday, learned how to garage sell in 5 minutes, went to a garage sale, bought 3 video games for $10, and I sold one for 70, 25. I sold a action figure that I got for free for 10. So I made about $100 just by stuff. Like most people would have just sat there in bed and kept watching. Turned it off when
Yeah.
it went out and do it. So just do it. Like, everyone talks so much. Like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start a business in 5 years. I want to be. Just do
Yeah.
it. Like, that's such a big thing for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, just people like overthink it. They're
They
just
do.
thinkers
Yeah.
and they don't actually they're like we need more doers in this
Yeah.
world.
We need a
We
lot more
need like
doers.
there's so much people just like, "Oh, I want to do this. I thought about this. I have my own plan here."
Yeah.
And they don't ever do it. They just get so like caught up
Yep.
like being the perfect plan and all that stuff. Just that's just like it's just I'm
Mhm.
so into this stuff. Just
Yeah.
guys, that's my main piece of advice I would like to give it to you. Just do it, man.
Yep.
Just do the thing
Yeah.
that you want to do, and it'll just save you so much time. Cause like a lot of people get caught up in all this stuff when they could have just done it when they were younger,
Yep.
and then they could have been like so. And we have to also give like the other people like sometimes they don't have the same opportunities as
Yeah.
me and you, but
Definitely.
like, we're
Yeah.
very lucky to be in this
Very fortunate.
position,
Very grateful.
and we definitely have to do that. And that's why I just make sure to hustle, do all that stuff. And if you can't, just make sure to always try doing something to try and make money. And if you just, I'm just so, I just,
And
and
and and
yeah,
here's the
just
best
totally
part.
just do it.
You can fail so much, and no one will care. Like, go out on garage sale and find nothing. No one cares. You would have.
Yes.
Most kids are sleeping in at that time, right? That's how I
Yeah.
always put it. In that, even if I find nothing that day, I would have been sleeping in anyways. So it's just an encouragement to wake up. But like, that's another cool part about this. You can literally start as many YouTube channels, as many podcasts, as go to as many garage sales, as many companies, create as many products as you want, and absolutely fail, and no one will care. Like, and people just need to
Exactly.
realize that. Go do things, fail as much as you want, as much as you need to, but you're still so much further along than the person who decided not to try, or the
Exactly.
person who said they would do it and spend the entire time planning, or the person who knows that they can do it but are waiting 20 years.
And actually, yeah, totally. Like when you are starting, the thing about risk is that the more risk you take, it's funny, it's
Yeah.
like ironic, but the more risks you take, the less risky those risks
Yeah.
become. And
Yep.
that's why if you like take so much risks when you're younger, you'll become more knowledgeable about risks and all that
Right.
stuff, and you'll be like so much farther ahead of other people. Like I like this quote about starting out where it's like it's by Gandhi, and he says, first they first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they
Yep.
fight you, and then you win. And that's
Yep.
why it just shows that you're so ahead of people, because when you're actually doing it compared to just doing nothing, you'll always win than the person that does nothing.
Yep.
Same, I also love this other quote where it says, the person that works hard will always beat the person with talent. The
Yep.
hard worker will always
Yep.
beat
Totally.
talent. But if you can combine talent and hard work, then
Exactly.
crazy things will happen. So, yeah, just hard work is the most important thing above all.
Yeah.
And
Definitely. Yeah.
I got a quick question for you, Ben.
Yeah.
So, do you have like a written plan or like a vision of where you think you're gonna be in like 10 years, or is it just based or like a written plan where you want to be like financially, or is it just based on your inspiration right now?
I think I've known where I've wanted to be my entire life. Um, in 10, 20 years, I've always known that. That's never changed in my mind. I think what has
Yeah,
changed is how I'm gonna get there, and a little bit more of the
exactly,
details. Um, like, in terms of like, planning, I plan very short. Like, I plan in the next 2 months. I'll plan that. just because I don't feel comfortable planning my next 5 years because who would have thought that I would have been so into NFTs a year ago when
Yeah.
NFTs weren't mainstream yet. Like that's why I don't love planning too much. And my mom always talks about doing like pitch competitions, and like
Yeah.
I'm not too keen on those ideas just because I don't want to spend any more time planning. I just want to go do things.
Exactly.
Like I understand that it's
Yeah.
good to lay things out and to be organized. Just do it. Like
Hmm.
I don't care if I have a really detailed, aesthetically pleasing pitch deck if I spend my entire first year writing the pitch deck. Like that's just
Yeah.
unbelievable to me.
Uh, I think, yeah, just something to like kind of like sum up what you just said is like the destination is going to be the same if you have a good vision,
Yeah,
but the way to get there is always
yeah,
going to change. Like there's
always changing.
different ways. Though the path is going to be super curvy, but the destination is going to remain the same.
Yeah, hundred
So,
percent.
and I think this is a good way to end the podcast because right now we should stop talking about the recent NFT
And let's go
drops
do
and
it.
we should
Yeah,
just start doing it.
yeah.
And so, is there anything else you want to talk about before we end this, Ben?
No, except my baby steps this week. I had a cool idea for that. So I think, especially what we talked about in the past 10-20 minutes, I think a cool baby step this time around is kind of crypto related, but to think of a few ways, or no, actually I don't want to even say that. Go do something. Go think of for 5 minutes, and then go do something about a way that you can help fund your NFT adventures, or even if it's not NFTs, your crypto adventures, or your business
Mm.
ventures, or your YouTube or podcast ventures. So I think that's the baby steps for this week. Not even completely crypto related, but just think of for a little bit, and then go do something to help you get there.
Oh yeah, and then my baby step I think is anyone pick your favorite brand, and if they have
Yeah,
an NFT project, do major research on
yeah,
it, study into it, see how it is, see if it's a super strong brand, and then try to get into it. And don't worry about everything out there
yeah,
because right now, when you're younger, just you can take the risks and it
yeah,
won't affect you as badly
yeah.
as until when you're older.
Yeah, I mean, if
So
you're if you're 13 and you lose your $50 from the Matrix, you're really not going to think about that 10 years later, you know.
yeah,
So just
like
take the
it's
risk. Yeah,
and make sure to focus on just like one NFT project. Do a lot of research on that. And like,
yeah,
if you lose $50 and your thing goes to the bottom, like it's just like $50. You can always make it back with just a
yeah,
couple hours of
yeah.
hard work. And I think that you will. I have a feeling that you will be very happy with the Matrix NFT, Ben. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be a big winner, but I have a feeling. I just have a feeling.
I'm down for it,
So
Kamea. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. When it releases, what, November 30th in 20 days. Let's do it. Let's go live. I'll figure it out. Let's
yes,
go live, and when we unveil or do our try and get the NFTs, because that's going to be a struggle. Um,
yeah,
but yeah. Anyways, great way to end this podcast. So it's moral of the story: take risks. This space is wide open. Everyone
and
here has the same amount of experience. Take risks, and just go do it. Whether you want to buy an NFT, whether you need to raise some money, just go do it.
exactly, Ben. Thank you, everyone listening. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We'll see you next
We'll
week.
see you next week.
I'm CryptoCoinKid, and we'll see you later. Peace.